Real Talk is proudly sponsored by Huawei and MTN.
Ngesponono samaningi yegelet swiding igniga gonkok ngokwami yadi yeledeng ubajelengen dela lesgebeng siyilwelelen desinayo ayibo labo pari bebe thembe ngihlale ngisendleleni nengiyazi ukuthi uhlala uzibuza mhlambe nginama substitute trust issues nama excuse my love for you untouchable ngiyafunga nasi is true emntana umuntu dala wehlunyuka nami lokho khereza uphande upress upusha nami I'm blessed cause you the one I guess iphuphula mselifezekila senses vumelwana for better or worse akukho kuzohlukanisa kodwa all these ludicrous rumors abantu babhizi bekhuluma sis never let these bunch of lunatics ruin this truly is you I wanna spend my future with
Hello and welcome to Real Talk on SABC 3 with me, Azania Mosaka. Getting into the music business and creating lasting memories in the hearts and minds of fans is every artist's dream. My guest tonight has championed the Skanda rap movement as the king of the genre. We'll find out how the son of a pastor ended up pioneering a new era of hip-hop culture in South Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome multi-award-winning rapper and musician KO to Real Talk. How's it?
Ala.
Hey?
Hey, that's
God
that
is
a
here.
Dope introduction. Thank you.
Was it?
That.
You happy?
Yes.
That very video has over 2 million views on YouTube.
That's crazy. I haven't actually checked, but that's amazing.
Yeah.
Milestone.
Does that take you by surprise?
Yeah. I'm never content with how people receive my material. You know, it's always humbling because coming from where I come from and being where I am, it's still surreal to me a little bit, you know, so and I don't actually monitor how my product is performing. Like that's the label's job and that's my manager's job.
Yeah.
Right? I just want to, as soon as I'm down with it and churn it out, I'm happy and then everything else will take care of itself.
Yeah. That's interesting that you never check.
Nah.
You don't have that ego, that vanity. Hey, let me see.
I mean, you do need to know and keep tabs, you know, but sometimes you do know when something is really moving at a fast rate, if it's making the necessary impact, you really feel it.
Yeah.
But sometimes when you're not actually feeling it, you know that, okay, cool, maybe the YouTube numbers are looking a certain way, the charts are looking a certain way, and then you move on to the next one.
Sure, yeah. But you talk about how when you look at where you've come from and the success that you've achieved, let's go back there. You were born in Soweto, but you guys then moved to Piet Retief.
My parents are from Piet Retief, so my mom was studying this side at Barra because she was a midwife.
Yes.
So while she was this side, you know, that's how me and my 3 other siblings were born this side, and then obviously we were brought up in Mpumalanga, that side, yeah.
So you are the son of a nurse.
Yeah, mommy nurse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My mom was a nurse too.
Oh, amazing.
So I know that life.
Amazing. So yeah, I mean, if you have those type of privileges, I'm not to say they're actually it's a privilege itself, but you know, you don't go through what other kids unfortunately go through. When there's a little diarrhea happening or a little cough, it's taken care of right there and then.
Yes.
So that was one of the blessings that came with that.
And is she still like that with you? You like have a little cough?
Yeah, she is. I mean, 2-3 years ago, she gave me a shot, my butt. So it is what it is. Mama's boy.
An injection right there administered by your moms.
Yeah.
So all those fans are like, KO.
That's my mother.
Sure.
That's my mother. No one else can ever do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then your father was a pastor.
But my dad is actually, he was an admin clerk at the same hospital where my mom was working. and but he was dabbling into, you know, the whole spiritual thing. At church, he was involved because by default, his father was an actual pastor. So my dad was probably in the family was one person who really took it upon himself to follow in his father's footsteps.
Wow.
So he never really, you know, went for, you know, azange high school for.
Not formally.
Yeah, formally, you know, but he did. He even today, he still now and then, you know, gives a sermon at church. He fills in for the pastor, for the main pastor when he's not around. So yeah.
You know, some of our other guests have also talked about how often they had to attend church. Tulima Donsela was on that very couch also saying there was a time when she would go to 3 churches. Trevor Noah writes in his book, because his mother was such a devout church person, that sometimes they would go to 3 different churches on a Sunday.
My dad
Did you
wasn't.
also eat, live, dream,
No,
breathe
it
church?
wasn't really like that, because I'm not literally a pastor's son, you know, so it's just something, it was a passion project more than anything for him.
Yeah.
You know, so if we go to his church, that suffices, it's enough, you know, so we don't have to do anything else, but we did have to go to church every single Sunday.
Every Sunday.
Yeah, we had no choice about that.
So what are the most important values that you would say your parents imparted on you?
One thing that I actually just appreciated about them is the fact that since I was a kid, there were other children living with us, probably older or younger, you know, even till this day, you know, that are not their kids. You know, they opened their doors. They always had someone that they were putting a roof under that wasn't necessarily their blood. So just that, you know, how just that act of kindness, you know, for me is something that I really appreciate. I don't know if I'll do it, but I think to a certain degree, I think they just like really excelled in that compared to a lot of other, you know, family members that I know. But they are probably one of those people who really did that, and it's something that I appreciated about them, and just like the humility. Also, one thing, you know, my mom just made me realize that one thing that she taught me actually. I remember just as a kid, I had a lot of issues, just like I was rebellious, and my spirit was very dark, you know, until I went to varsity, and the one time I just exploded and told her some of the things that like had bothered me as a kid, you know, and these were things that had to do with some of the family members, and like, but I never shared them, you know, just, you know, little things like, I remember one time growing up in my grandma's house, it just so happened all the kids were there, were very young, and something happened. Someone stole my grandma's whatever stash of money or whatever that was, probably $100, and no one came forward to say they did it.
Yeah.
So one of my aunts, who was very cheeky at the time, gave all the kids a whooping, you know, and it stuck with me because I'm like, damn. So I don't even have anything to do with this, but now by default. And as a kid, that stuck with me up until like my late teens. And my mom never knew about those kind of things. You know, so I harbored a lot of ill feelings towards people. And sometimes rightfully so.
Yeah.
But my mom that one time when I actually exploded and just like, you know, dished out all these things that that had been bothering me, she taught me something about forgiveness, you know, that, you know, sometimes you could be harboring, I mean, they also preach this at church, that sometimes, you know, when you're harboring ill feelings towards someone else, or even it's like resentment or hatred or anything of that nature, and especially if that person doesn't know
exactly
how you feel, it's like you drinking poison and expecting them to die, right? So I learned that from a very young age when my mom just broke that whole science down for me. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And then, because she also told me that if your heart is open and you are a very forgiving person, you open up yourself to positive karma, right? You are able to attract the right things. Because at the time, I remember I was struggling to get a job and stuff, because this was shortly after varsity as well. So for the longest of time, like things just were not coming together, even the music thing.
Yes.
Right? And then she said, if you open your heart and you just forgive all these things and just put it behind you, you'll see what God's gonna do. And boom,
Things
just like
happened.
that, things happen.
Things happen.
So, yeah.
Wow. So was that the only thing that made you, as you describe, a dark person at the time when you were young?
I think so. I think so. And another thing maybe is because I'm a very shy person, like by nature. Like
Yeah.
you hear a lot of public figures saying that they are shy. Like I was horribly shy, right? To a point where I couldn't even, like my family, like my mom and my dad and my 3 siblings, right? So sometimes if I have to just do something as little as standing there and telling everyone else how, you know, my school went and stuff like that, I'd tremble, right?
Wow.
It was that bad.
And these
So-
are your family members?
yeah, you know, so it was really crazy. And when I actually when we started making the rounds as tear gas, you know, my dad one time was like, I can't believe like that you the
is the
same
same
kid,
person, yeah.
right? That was struggling to put together a couple words, you know, in the house, and then now you're out there in front of thousands of people. You know?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, just little things like that.
It's a sign of growth. It's actually a sign of growth
Yeah.
and a sign of maturity.
Yeah. So that also did the level of shyness that I had. I also limited myself from hanging with other kids, and I also somehow I think I was also narcissistic, if I can put it that way, as a kid. I'm not a narcissist anymore, but as a kid,
But in what way that I can't play with them? Did you feel above?
yeah, and also I felt like if anything, they need to come to me.
Wow.
Right? So when they didn't come to me, which is one of the things that humbled me as I grew up, but like at the beginning, it hurt me because I'm like, okay, so compared to my other brother, compared to my one cousin, you know, I'm not that guy. So I took that very personal. You know?
Yes.
So those are some of the things that made me very dark.
Yeah,
as a
and then
kid,
of course the explosion happened and you had this incredible release.
Yes, ma'am.
Wow, thank you so much for opening up.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, it is a feel-good Friday, even though we have started on a bit of a heavier note, and we're catching up with KO this evening. And as a KO fan, you might just have been paying close attention to the music from his latest extended play. But have you seen him perform the new hits? Well, this next segment promises to be a real treat. When we come back, there's that performance coming up.
True killer for sure, I'm a true killer for sure. Not even trying to be cocky, but my pool's bigger than yours. The coop's bigger than yours. The crew's treated than yours. Totally happy to show you the true meaning of war. Flexing my powers just to show them who's really the boss. Kinda Republic, yeah, we show them who's bringing the sauce. I move slicker than y'all. Now what the you gon' tell us, huh? Oh, you mad, you jealous. I did it for the culture, rooting, cheering for y'all. But then again, you're dealing with human. Yeah. Alright. To my mama's at LA. Let's go. Hey, hey, hey. Bona sinza. Yeah. To my mama's at LA. Everything I do is fire. Nothing but fire emojis. Bona sinza. Hey. To my mama's at LA. Everything I do is fire. Nothing but fire emojis. Boy, yeah, you got this. Yeah. Mr. Cash Diamond's in the building. Okay. Hey. Summer 2018 and Dwani Futamalanga. Figure I'm a timeline, the flow sip into Gumkalangwa. Take a picture, helping the boy in homo shit fun and I'm been getting paper just doing what I want. Hey, I'ma get the tide, gon' get the tide. Yeah, we was written in the Bible, listen the Bible. Genesis, my songs, only thing getting hype. Rappers coming, I seen them go, it's a vicious cycle, vicious cycle. I'm jelly buff, at the bottom loving gonna call a bottle loving gonna call a must figure it's a movie put the bit on your booty, but she wanna swat cause she knows proof is really in the pudding. See why I go, but never got money, stop, levels of figure and it pulls you put it back. So shy saga no sis, them nanny twat luggage. You call them, you don't get lost, think up shy. Babylon, get a weapon, so middle to the other side. You a friend or foe, magazine, scientific pose a threat. You be centerfold, shooting star, aiming for the stars with a telescope. Hey, he means you can't on the mind. Bonuses out. To my mama's hallelujah. Hey, everything I do is fly. Nothing but fire emoji. Hey, bonuses out. Hey, to my mama's hallelujah. Hey, everything I do is fly. Nothing but fire emoji. It's kinda got Superman. It's kinda got Superman. It's kinda got Superman. It's kinda got Superman. Yeah. Bonuses out. Hey, to my mama's hallelujah. Hey, everything I do is fine.
Bona Senzani. Oh my gosh. Welcome back to Real Talk on SABC 3. Hey, KO, that was hot.
Thank
hot.
you.
Grab a seat. Thank you for that performance.
Appreciate
Well,
it.
it was the year 2013 when this Kanda King, KO, brought in a sound that has shaped hip-hop through Cash Time Life. Now, it's been a few weeks now since KO debuted his EP, two-piece, and he just performed Fire Emoji off the latest EP featuring AKA. So remember to give us a call this evening on the number that's on the screen at the moment if you would have a question or a comment for KO. We'd love to hear from you. That is a hot song.
Thank
What's
you.
the secret to hit making?
I'm just a fan of the music, you know, of South African hip hop, of South African music, and whatever that I put into it, whatever my contribution is, I want to make sure that it's of a, you know, it's high grade.
Yeah.
And that the music is timeless. I mean, it's funny because as at the beginning of the show, as I was watching It's Kind of Love playing, I just feel like this song just came out. You know,
Like yesterday.
You know what I mean? It's such a classic record, you know. So for me, I want to, whenever I look back into my catalog, I need to be proud, you know, of each moment. So if it's not good enough, it won't come out.
Yeah.
You know, so that's just like my formula.
So here you are. You do a collaboration with AKA
Yeah.
on Fire Emoji.
Yeah.
And then you do a collaboration with Casper
Yeah.
on Waya Waya.
Yeah.
And they're both on the same album.
Yeah.
So what was the idea behind that? Is it just that they were available, these were great songs, had to release them, or is there a bigger commentary?
No, nothing deep. There's no crazy science. The songs were recorded pretty much within the same period of time. I think it was like over May.
Yeah, yeah.
And I recorded those two songs. Started off with Fire Emoji, and as a result, like just a couple weeks later, Casper was available, so I decided to go to his house, and we got to record as well. So the plan was to drop Fire Emoji first, and then follow up with Wire Wire. But I still have. My plan was to drop another record later in the year.
This year?
Yeah, right. So, and I'm thinking, shucks. So if I don't put out, if I put out Fire Emoji now and Wire Wire later, I might not have enough room towards the end of the year. So the best thing to do is, instead of like sitting there and like, okay, cool, maybe let me just go with Wire Wire. What's gonna happen to Fire Emoji, you know? So, and because of the respect that I have for both guys and the respect they have for me, I felt like both songs needed just to come out and we get past that, and then I can focus on other things.
Sure.
You know, so the label felt like it needed to be an EP, and that's how we ended up rolling it out. So there was no song that was picked over the other.
Yeah.
We're pushing them just about
Not
the
about
same.
beef, this is just about hip hop and the prowess that it has.
Yeah, and both songs are fully supported. Both songs are playlisted on radio. I shot videos to both songs before the EP even came out.
You had to bear that in mind.
You know what I mean?
Collaborating with both of them on the same album.
Yeah. So, I mean, but I did share with them prior, like just the whole plan that, okay, cool, guys, this is what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Are we okay with this? And, you know, I mean, because they also know what comes with, you know, that conversation when they're pitted against, you know, each other.
And often it's the fans.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
the fans that create
I think somehow, I mean, now they are savvy towards it. Like, they know the currency that comes with it. So they play along, you know?
Okay.
Yeah, so it works for everyone, because the reason why I actually even did that, people had never seen me work with Casper, and
yeah, especially after the things he said in a song about the...
Well, yeah, I mean, because now that had like died out, you know, so it was cool. So just breaking that ice and me extending my hand to him, and also bringing along the homeboy. I'm like, okay, cool, we're on the same EP. So it's almost what I can put, without sounding too graphic, it's what I call almost a perfect wet dream for a South African hip-hop fan, right? Because they want to see us on the same song together.
Sure.
You know, but hopefully soon that will happen as well. You know, don't hold your breath, you know, on that. But also, it's just me trying to, because I'm big on unity. You know, that's one of the reasons why I decided to play it the way that we did.
Sure. Well, KO, we've got a caller, because you've got tons of fans out there. So we've got Dzivhu calling in from Roodepoort. Good evening, Dzivhu.
Hi, how are you, Azania?
We're very good. Welcome to Real Talk.
I'm also okay. I'm so fast-tracked right now. Like, I'm speaking to my idol. Eh?
Woo!
Like,
Azania, yeah.
No. Okay, easy. Don't do that to me. This kind of God.
What's up, boy?
Dude, from day one, like, you know, almost, like, I don't even know what to say, but like, you've been killing the game. You've been the Beyonce of the group, and you went solo.
There's no such thing.
You had MA doubles on it. Like, I don't even know what to say anymore. Like, you're such an idol. How do you stay relevant, my guy? Like, business is booming. We're rocking the match and so forth, my guy. What's happening?
Thank you so much for the question, Dzivhu. So, staying relevant, especially as the field gets more and more competitive.
Yeah. It's obviously very tricky, you know, it's quite a challenge, but it's also you tapping into whatever that is happening.
Yeah.
You know, the game is always changing, and, you know, you need to find new ways of playing. One person that I really look up to, two people that I look up to locally, is a gentleman by the name of Oskido. And this guy has been around and just killing things since the days of BOP, Boom Shaka, and all that. You know, he started a label, bro, Kalawa, you know, and that's how I also got the idea of going about things the way that I did with Cash Time. In the States, you have Jay-Z, who till this day is still one of the top MCs, you know, even at his age.
Yeah,
so,
and you've also renamed yourself in a way, K-Over.
Yeah, because...
Is that just a homage to your love for Jay-Z?
Yeah, it's partly that, and also I think I have a Jay-Z complex, so to speak, in how I operate as well. Because it's a lot of things that, like, I sponge from what he does, you know, the business moves, so many things. There's a lot of boxes that I haven't ticked from the entrepreneurial side of things, but I'm looking to do that as well. But on the music side of things, you see him collaborating with all types of artists, you know, just not boxing himself into, okay, cool, I'm the OG, forget about, you know, such and such, you know, this is not how we used to do things, boom, boom, boom. So those are some of the things that I I sponge from him and apply within my space. And I guess maybe that answers Homeboy's question.
Absolutely. Well, you talked about having your own record label, but interestingly, you signed with Sony. I want to get to that, about this deal and the difference that it makes to how you do what you do. But first, we do have to take a break. But remember that you can still give us a call, chat to KO this evening, and send out a shout out, express your love for him, or simply ask him a question. More after this.
Let's go.
Jolano bat, Jabagaso. Jolano bat, Jabagaso. Ubale pat, Padagaso. Track, vale pat, Padagaso. Yeah. Wozu Shalala, telling Kati, eating Kalaga, Lanipati. Wozu Shalala, telling Kati, eating Kalaga, Lanipati. Swagger no. Call me your swagger no. Casanova. I like how she call me your swagger no.
Welcome back to Real Talk. Today I'm catching up with recording artist and businessman KO. He certainly has built a career many find envious. He's got a slick clothing label range titled Dust & Company. There's also his independent record label Cash Time, plus a new business deal with Sony. So we're about to find out a little bit more about that. But we also know that no successful career is built without challenges along the way. So this deal with Sony, KO, you've got your own record label. What do they bring to the table?
First of all, point of correction, the clothing label is called Skanda Republic.
Skanda Republic.
Yeah,
Ooh,
sorry about that.
bad.
Sorry
And he's
about
sporting it today.
Yeah.
Super stylish.
Let's get that on camera real quick.
Swaggy. Swagger Nova right here.
So the situation with Sony. So with Cash Time, right, we were signed to Sony as well as a label, because we were independent, and so they did the distribution side of things, so because we didn't have those type of resources, so that's how people form partnerships with some of the major labels out there. So after the whole Cash Time thing played out the way that it did, I went and created a Skanda Republic. So this is now the same umbrella that has clothing, and there's also the label side of things.
Restructured.
Yeah. So now that's the new situation that I have with Sony. So it's a partnership between myself and what I'm doing with Skanda Republic.
Yeah.
So it's a continuation of what we were doing with Cash Time. It's just now it's direct. Yeah.
Okay. Well, as a major player in hip hop, you've made some interesting comments of late. You're saying that hip hop got arrogant, overconfident too quickly. Because do you feel that there's a fallback behind, now you're behind house and gqom, that other genres have surpassed you, when a couple of years ago, hip hop was the energy that was driving the vibe in South Africa?
Yeah. I think our tenure...
What do you think happened, actually?
Our tenure was very short-lived, because things exploded in 2014, obviously. 2015 was great. 2016, you started seeing the shift when now, for instance, the Babes Odumo, popped up, and we no longer had the one big overall hip-hop song. I mean, yes, you had Ngudu, and then last year you had Spirit. And the reason why those two songs obviously popped off is because they are authentically South African. So when I talk about a certain amount of arrogance, it came in the form of us losing what had the ingredient of what had put us in the forefront of the race, which is just solely relying on South African elements, because that's what allowed for the people to connect a lot more. Yeah. So once we started going a little American with it again, that you saw how it also affected us a little bit, and then now when gqom pops up the way that it does, people feel like that's the one South African thing that they actually been, starving for as well. So they ran to that. So it's just all about us being conscious of the fact that we are servicing, we are not competing solely amongst ourselves.
Right.
I'm competing with Black Coffee. I mean, the same goes
Sure.
for all the other hip hop guys. You're competing with every other artist that there is, Lyra or whoever, you know? So for you to try and make yourself and play with a niche attitude, you know, you are unfortunately gonna be pushed to the back of the line.
Yeah, yeah.
And also, one last thing, just to close that chapter, is I think also just our rate as well. We also inflated our rate to a point where it just became sort of kind of impossible for promoters to afford us.
You priced yourselves out of the market.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
You know, and so now I can't really compete with Black Coffee because Black Coffee will take a booking for a certain fee. He doesn't require some of the things that I require because he's a DJ. And then as a result, boom, I'm losing out on the
How much are
booking.
cats going for these days?
Hey, am I allowed to do that?
Yes, yes. Let's actually
I'd
look at
say
that.
like
You've
if
made the statement that people have overpriced
I
themselves.
can't say now because another thing that we need to bear in mind in 2018 at this time is the fact that the economy has shifted.
Yes.
Right? So there isn't really enough money to go around for someone to drop 300,000 on an artist to come and do an hour set, you know. So things have sort of kind of shifted. People are downsizing. So even, you know, obviously even some of the big artists, they will still get that 300 wherever they do, but it's not at the same rate as they did a couple years ago.
Okay.
So, I mean, if you are doing fairly well if they're giving you a full rate, you're probably happy to take home 100,000 rands, you know, which is a far cry when you compare that, as a matter of fact.
It was before.
Yeah,
Okay.
well, not even with that. When you compare us to our African counterparts, Davido will come here and take 100,000 US dollars. A prime artist in South Africa will be paid at least 100,000 rand.
Wow.
So the dynamics are really crazy.
Yes.
So yeah, I mean, so even with that being said, you know, in terms of like how we're pricing ourselves, it's also important for us to also understand that these guys are playing the international game. You know, we are not playing the international.
Yes.
We are too focused on being out here. You know, Black Coffee, wherever it is. I hope he doesn't kill me for this. Like at one time, he told me he was playing in Dubai, and you know they were giving him something around the regions of 30 US. You know, and I'm thinking, wow, because that type of information is important for me.
Yes.
Because I need to understand that I can't just focus on playing within the space that I'm in. I need to branch out
In a
and
bigger
explore
pool. Yeah.
other things. And this was a while ago when he told me this, so you can imagine now, like he's really
Lot
out
has
there
changed.
shining. So he's probably coining even, you know, bigger coins. So
Yeah.
we need to
I
just
want
like,
to take this call from Malebo. She's been listening and patiently holding. Malebo's calling us this evening from Witbank. Good evening, Malebo.
Good evening, Azza. How are you?
We're super. Welcome.
I'm the Julie. How are you?
Shapa kunjani sis?
Nicole, I used to be this guy's lecturer, first year and second year communication science at Brown
Wow,
University.
that's crazy. Well, hey.
Not surprised at all at the person that he evolved to be. He has so much resolve, so much disposition that said, very quiet, very somber, always in the corner, but very one of the few people that could challenge me in class. And I'm proud at the brand that Mr. Gozo has, you know, evolved to be. You call him KO, I call him the Gozo.
Yeah.
No, Sharp. Actually, now I just remembered who exactly you are.
Which lecture it is, yeah.
I know exactly. I had challenges with her in my second year. I flunked my second year, bro. The subject that she was.
You failed the second year.
Yeah.
And you studied PR there.
Yes,
so
I
it's
did.
great. It's
She
great
was
for
my
people who've
communication
mentored you.
science lecturer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's proud, clearly, having watched your progress.
Yeah, man.
Okay.
Yeah,
so here's
man.
a quick one before we go to break. There's also this lifestyle in hip hop, the shades.
Oh,
What's
yeah.
the story behind the shades?
My bad. My
Ah!
bad.
Halfway through our conversation.
My bad.
Victoria Beckham once said that it is to hide the fact that she is a mother of what, 4 or 5? and the stresses that come with it. There was
I don't
another
know about
musician who said that they're shy, so it helps to give them a sense of comfort. What does
Yeah.
it do for you?
My eyes are all over the place.
Okay.
I have a very inquisitive eye, so I don't want to be caught slipping, you know, watching things I'm not supposed to. Just joking. It's because this is a very nice pair of shades,
Yes.
gold-plated. If you know your designer shades, you know what I'm talking about, so I had to wear that for you people. I'm sorry.
For your fans.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
understood.
yeah.
You're forgiven.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
join us after the break for more Real Talk with KO. We'll see you in a bit.
Take over, look, she like thing on the makeover. Then guess who's back? Who K-Hover? Money the main focus. Bank account on OD with road tees. I don't want it to stay sober. Kushuba, kushuba, kushuba. Who got two shoes? Tubula, tubula, tubula.
Well, thank you for staying with us here on Real Talk on SABC3. This evening, we've been catching up with KO, the man who gave us an entire genre within hip-hop, and that is Skanda rap. What is the origin of Skanda rap?
I think the best way to put it is there was a line in one of Pro Kid's old song back in the day, and he said something about Shaya Iskanda Samakama, you know, and for me, I'm sitting there, I'm like, okay, cool. That basically he's talking about referencing the Pantsula dance,
Sure.
right, from Ekasi. So when I was working on my first album, I wanted to create something that was distinct because now I was coming from tear gas, right? And it made no sense for me to continue with the tear gas sound. So I needed to create something that was distinct. So I had to dig as deep as possible. And with the blessing of God, with God's blessing, I was able to stumble upon this genre, the sound, and obviously the song, the main capsule towards that is Karakara. So it was the whole Kwaito thing, right? A lot of people, when they mesh up hip hop and Kwaito, they want to make hip hop sound Kwaito. I wanted to make Kwaito sound hip hop type of thing, right? If that makes sense.
And engineer it that way?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I wanted to play on the whole Pantsula element and all those kind of things. So the sound and even the way, you know, we dress, you know, the long socks and all stars and the bucket hats and boom, boom, boom,
Sure,
the dungarees
from.
and stuff. So it's all borrowed from Kwaito culture.
Yeah.
So the packaging that whole thing, you know, I felt like it needed a name, the same way you had Mutuako, you know, the guys in Mufftown, you know, were running with that. So I felt like I needed to introduce something new, and it came out in the form of Sky.
You're hugely popular tonight, KO. We've got Thandeka calling, in fact. Hi, Thandeka. Good evening.
How are you?
Very good. You're calling from Witbank, right?
No, I'm calling from Centurion.
Ah, sorry about that. But go ahead, address KO.
Yes, I'd just like to ask KO. I just want to know, like, I'm originally coming from Mpumalanga, and I would like to know from your side, what advice would you give to aspiring artists as to make it through, like, out there in the industry?
Okay. Thandeka, thank you for your question.
Cool.
How do artists make it through?
You know, back in the day, for me coming from a small town in Mpumalanga, I had to move up to Johannesburg, right? Because that's obviously the hub of everything. But these days, because of the internet and social media and all those things, it's a lot more easier, right, for people to access all the necessary resources. The mobile studios, people record in their own comfort, the comfort of their homes. So I'd say start with recording and just go out there and get yourself a mic, get yourself a decent laptop or whatever, and start churning out stuff from there and watch YouTube for tutorials.
Right.
You know, there's a lot of things that you're gonna learn from there, and also just like how to make your stuff go viral on the internet. You know, there's certain way of coding your stuff. So these things are all available on YouTube.
Online.
You know,
Okay.
the tutorials out there on how to hustle the internet. And also, yeah, man, you just need to be humble and know that you're starting on the back of the line, and you need to work your way towards, you know, the spot that you desire. And that means you're gonna have to do a lot of groundwork, performing for free,
Yes.
traveling and spending money to go to certain places where you wanna be seen. Get out there, you know.
Yeah, be in those circles, in those networks.
Exactly. So
Absolutely.
invest in yourself. So that's what it is.
But I think I want to go back to those years when you finished studying, before the tear gas years, when you were unemployed.
Yeah.
Just to piggyback on Thandeka's question. So
Yeah.
you know what it's like
Yeah.
to have this dream.
Yeah.
And as you said earlier, things were not opening up.
Yeah.
And your mom ended up suggesting that you apply for the SAPS.
Yeah. Because the music thing was taking longer than I expected.
Yeah.
And also the work situation was taking longer than I expected. So I'm sitting at home with a qualification and nothing is materializing. So
It can be so demoralizing.
yeah, you know, but through the grace of God, what had happened was shortly after I had applied for the SAPS job, right? I was called in for an interview, but the day I was supposed to go, we also had our first call up at the record label where we eventually signed as
Yeah.
Tear Gas, got our first deal. So instead of going to the interview, I decided to go to the record label meeting because, hey, bro, this is what I've
You
always
rolled your
wanted.
dice.
Right?
Yeah.
And yeah, we got our first deal and we started building from there. And it didn't take off immediately as well. When I got my first job, the first thing I did was just throw my money into whatever that we needed to do, you know, to get our stuff off the ground. And I think I only worked for 4 months.
Yeah.
Because now and then I had to leave and go for interviews and go for performances. So my boss was like, bro, I can't be paying for someone who's not here. So you're going to have to make a choice.
Yeah.
And I had to make another gamble again. I'm like, okay, cool, deuces. And I went and did the tear gas thing. And a couple weeks later, there we were.
And
we
here
won
you
the
were.
metros.
Well
we
worth it.
won the
Definitely
metros and
well
it was
worth
crazy.
it. I remember that. I remember
you
that.
were there. Yeah.
Was during my time. Well, I want you to look forward to another performance from the EP 2 piece with award-winning hip-hop artist KO. It's happening after the break, so don't you move. Welcome back to Real Talk on SABC 3. The stage is yours. Well, we're about to wrap up our conversation, our little catch up with KO this evening. And then after that, he's going to be performing to close off tonight's show. So KO, you know, one thing for sure about your life is that you're very private. Your private life is extremely private.
Yes.
So we figured we need to draw you out a little bit just to understand, does he have a type?
Sure.
What is he into?
Sure.
Yes. What kind of gets you excited? So there's a
Okay.
sign right there. Grab the sign. The one side says denied, the other side says approved. So I want you to look at the
It's
screen.
gonna stay here.
We've put up a screen for you.
It's gonna stay right here.
I doubt. All right, so here's the first reaction, the first person we're curious about.
Okay.
Yes or no? Declined or approved?
Approved.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was pretty quick of you. Take off your shades. We want to see your reaction.
Okay,
All right,
let's do
let's
that.
take a look at the next one. That was pretty quick of you. Quite definitive there. Okay, and why?
Not my type.
Okay, let's do the third one.
Yes, that's official.
Really? He's
That's
alright?
official. Yeah.
Okay.
She's official.
I'm surprised by that.
She's official.
Oh, official.
Yeah.
There's a new term. There's a third one.
Obviously.
You like them older?
That
one, particularly.
That one. She's fine. She's fine.
Look at you blushing. All right, you've got one more to go. One more to go. What's happening?
Not really. But yeah, that one is
Okay.
one time.
Well, at least we've got a sense. We're starting to kind of see what your type is. So you're getting ready to do your performance. You're closing us off today. So I'm going to send you off to go and set up and get ready. Maybe I'll join you. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure catching up with the award-winning, multiple award-winning, and just platinum-selling artist, Ntokozo Mdluli, a.k.a. KO. So be sure to check out his EP. It's on iTunes. And KO will play us out with another hit from the EP, Two-Piece, featuring Casper, or rather Two-Piece featuring AKA and Casper. And let's see what he pulls out for us tonight as he closes off. From all of us here at Real Talk, have a fantastic weekend. With that, it's good night.
It won't be bad. It won't be bad. Okay,
Wokumuntu lana ngachicha, wokumuntu lana ngachicha, darus. Wokumuntu lana ngachicha, wokumuntu lana ngachicha, darus. Darus. Wow.
Take over, look at she like thing on the makeover. Done, guess who's back? We came over. Money the main focus. Bank account on OD, the road tees. I don't want it to skate so well. Kushuba. Who got two shoes? Dubula. Zongele poop. No goody two shoes. None of my bandu. Tap dance in my gum boots like showers tattoos. Bar, but to my cruise. Step on the juice, girl. We can disappear in a few. Yellow or juice, boy. Find something better to do. Got the classic. Well, I'm a humble. Safuna was begging. I'm a cook. Rabaiki. Ufikile fella monaga baiki. Rabaiki. Now why you wanna step all over my Nikes? Ngatela makho na ujagala sabafana njenga. Bayo papatiswa ngomli. Feels plumbing na mamore. Udola na mabole. Bafare sholo no guzo likona with the goddess.
Wokumuntu lana ngachicha, wokumuntu lana ngachicha, darus. Wokumuntu lana ngachicha, wokumuntu lana ngachicha, darus. Darus. Wow. Darus. Wow.
Abaixo balão.
That's cheeky.
Real Talk is proudly sponsored by Huawei and MTN.